Hello my friends. My name is Bot Mathematician, and this is Holomancer.
We are very happy to see you all again.
We are still broadcasting directly from the tent of the League of Explorers, right in the center of Uldum.
The League of Explorers has arrived in Uldum to put an end to the perilous plagues and pernicious plans set in motion by arch-villain Rafam. We, in turn, have decided to create detailed review of what you can meet in the churning dunes and dusty tombs of Uldum. To do this, we analyzed HS replay statistics and considered deck analytics from Hearthstone top decks. Then we decided on the most optimal versions of decks for you.
You will also receive an answer to the question, why is fun in the desert so expensive for players?
Gentlemen, let's cut right to it. What balance changes occurred in the metagame since the release?
Daring Reporter, we are very glad to see you. Let's look at the popularity of classes in the metagame.
In general, dramatic changes did not occur. Hunter lost its lead to Mage, but Vexor is still very strong. By the way, Mage is the most diverse class at the present moment.
Despite the fact that Warrior shows very good results on the ladder, he lost almost 5% popularity. Paladin made the biggest comeback, he rose from the bottom of the list to the middle.
Unfortunately, the Warlock, Druid, and Priest still are outsiders among the popularity of classes.
How did the new cards affect deck building?
In short, we got two main concepts in this set: quests, and Zephrys the Great. Each class received a legendary quest, and each hero managed to create a new archetype. But unfortunately, at the moment, almost all of these strategies look too weak, although they are quite fun. Players continue to experiment and seek the best solutions, but so far without success.
The Priest managed to create several archetypes, based on quest mechanics at once, and some of them look quite viable. The Mage, Warlock and Warrior were unable to use their quests effectively at all.
To many players' surprise, Paladin's quest turned out to be one of the best ones after the release. This version of the deck costs 9,980 dust, and has a win rate of 58%. We got enough that the deck can consistently finish the quest around turn 5 to 6. And after that, the quest reward becomes really annoying. Getting two copies of Reborn minions is one thing, it's good, but probably wouldn't win that many games. Far more appealing targets are Mechano Egg and Mechanical Whelp. On one hand, your opponent does not want to clear those, but on the other, he has to so you can't summon more.
What about Zephrys? How did this card change the game?
This is a great question. Thank you. By far the most exciting card from the Saviors of Uldum set is Zephrys the Great, a minion that has really pushed the envelope on what's possible in the digital card game. Exactly a year ago, there was a release of Wazbang the Wonderful, another incredible card. It seems that developers need a whole year to create a card with very complex mechanics.
Zephrys is the neutral tool for Highlander support, and gives you a chance to discover the perfect card for your specific situation if the no duplicates condition is met. The developers created the legendary characters of the League of Explorers for Highlander decks for 4 classes: Mage, Paladin, Hunter and Druid. Zephrys the Great made Highlander decks viable. In addition, this card is so great that even the classes of the League of Evil began to use it for their evil intentions.
Zephrys is an excellent card and a wonderful way to have fun in the game. There's only one problem: this card alone is absolutely useless. You need to collect an incredibly large number of expensive cards for your Highlander deck to be competitive. There is only one exception to the rule: Murloc Paladin. But even this seemingly cheap deck will cost you from 7 to 10,000 dust depending on the version.
Highlander Mage is definitely one of the best decks. Specifically, this version of the deck has more than 60% win rate. The only drawback of this deck is the high cost of almost 20,000 dust. Reno the Relicologist turned out to be an amazing tool in the archetype. Given its minion-heavy nature, a buffed Luna's Pocket Galaxy is extremely potent, and can often close out games as soon as turn 6 or 7.
Before we announce the best decks so far, we want to do a short analysis of Uldum packs.
According to the results of the first week, Saviors of Uldum is the most popular set in the game, with 25% popularity. In other words, every 4th card in the meta game is from this set. This is not a surprise for us, as players are happy to experiment, and seem to give preference to fun decks rather than effective ones. Here are the top 3 most popular legendary cards, and top 5 epic cards. The most popular legendaries are Zephyrus the Great, Siamat and King Fioris. This trio is often used in Highlander decks.
Currently 93 out of the 135 cards introduced are being used in competitive play. This means that 69% of the cards are involved. On the screen you can see the number of cards, which are distributed by rarity. 11 epic cards have more than 1% popularity so far.
The popularity of all legendary cards is 35%.
Currently 20 out of the 23 legendary cards are used, with varying popularity in meta decks, and 17 of them have more than 1% popularity.
Tell us a little about pack benefits.
Okay Dora. Listen. We have created a special indicator, which can help you imagine how many useful cards you can get in your pack. Potential benefit of pack buying is affected by popularity of cards in the meta game, and drop rate of these cards.
At the moment, this set has the highest potential benefit ratio in the game.
Potentially, your first pack will bring you 3 or 4 useful cards out of 5. After the 50th open pack, you will get about 1 useful card out of 5. After the 100th pack, you have the opportunity to find only 1 useful card in your next 5 packs.
Now let's take a quick look at the most effective decks. Be attentive, each of these decks can potentially receive a nerf in the next few days.
Control Warrior is an unquestionable number 1 when it comes to win rates. The deck has only changed a little compared to its Rise of Shadows version. Militia Commander was replaced by the new Restless Mummy. We also got a small taunt package.
Highlander Hunter is one of the best decks on the ladder. This deck is also very expensive, as it uses 3 new legendary cards. This version of the deck costs 13,900 dust, and has a win rate of 60%.
Murloc Shaman didn't really get any new tools, except Murmee, the new reborn Murloc. This deck does not use legendary cards at all, and this is its main advantage, it only costs 2,920 dust. For this price, you get a deck that in most cases is trying to punish early experimental builds. The deck has a 59% win rate.
The Divine Spirit plus Inner Fire combo is played around with every single expansion, but this time it seems to be even more powerful than usual. The main new tool for this game strategy is High Priest Ammit, who turns every single minion into a huge threat.
Looks like we have a variety of decks for any budget.
Dora, it's not that easy. This time, players were able to open an incredibly small number of new packs. Only approximately 30% of the players, most of which made a pre-order, could potentially receive a sufficient number of new cards. But even this third part of the players probably has difficulty getting a variety of decks.
In general, free-to-play players only have a few options. If you have few resources, you can only use old strategies, which on the one hand are very effective, but on the other hand are very boring and tedious.
If you want to experience new emotions and try new strategies, you will have to spend too many resources for this. You may be able to collect one Highlander deck or several quest decks.
You also have a third option.
That ain't good.
You can use Whizbang the Wonderful to try out almost all new mechanics. In our opinion, this card is one of the most important in the game if you like fun.
The last 2 weeks I have been actively using this wonderful card, since I can't determine which decks to invest my dust in. Despite the fact that I opened more than 110 packs for gold, I was able to create only a few decks, and I need more epic and legendary cards. It seems that with each new day I become an adherent to the Whizbang fan sect.
What about Zale Shadow Cloak? Can it be used too?
Hey, you better not ask me about this.
Yeah?
Zale is a huge disappointment, as the developers have not updated the list of decks that this card can give you. The best you can get, with a 20% probability, is Rush Bomb Warrior. This fact makes this card absolutely useless.
Wait, as I recall, the developers didn't promise to update the list of decks for this card.
Actually you are right, but without the proper support, this card is just a formal reward for completing an adventure.
In addition, the adventure, which is not free anymore, is the main reason why we opened such a small amount of packs.
Let's get to the conclusions. We definitely got a very good set, that is great for fun. You can be quite competitive without a wide collection of new cards. Although in this case a competitive game can be boring for you.
The new legendary cards still have quite a narrow application and a moderate level of power, which is very cool.
Fun in Hearthstone is the most important part of its gameplay.
In addition, we want to remind you that according to the results of our surveys, more than 63% of players think that fun is more important than victory. However, winning and having fun at the same time may be too expensive this time around. In any case, you may be able to remain competitive thanks to cheap and efficient decks.
Can you give some general recommendations to the players?
Yes, of course. First, please don't hurry to craft a new cards. Wait a little time. Balance changes should happen soon.
Secondly, if you are a player who doesn't plan to spend money, you need a clear strategy for collecting and investing resources. We made a special video on this theme. It will definitely be useful to you. And finally, if you adhere to the rational strategy from this video, you should already stop buying Uldum packs and collect gold for an adventure or the next set.
I hope that in the future, we will be able to make a detailed analysis of the new adventure. The announcement for this may occur in a week or so.
So, here are some new questions. This time we ask you to evaluate the efforts of developers in creating cards. Do you think the new set is good enough?
Also, rate your collection of cards in the metagame.
We created a YouTube poll. Find the button on the screen, and please vote.
Alright, that's all for today. Thank you for being with us.
And special thanks to Chris for text editing.
We will meet in new videos.
Good luck.